Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste G S Raju Garu, and to all the friends and spiritual enthusiasts who have joined us live on the Rishi Vatika YouTube channel today. I am Venkat Raghavan, Director, International Institute of Vedic Sciences, and the host for this session. Let us start with a prayer. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Welcome to Dr. Vedavyas Memorial Online Lecture Series being conducted by International Institute of Vedic Sciences, Rishi Vatika, and promoted by Vedavyasa Bharati Trust, USCFI, and Yoga Brotherhood of America with the blessings of our Puja Guruji, Dr. Vedavyas. Today, we have Shri G S Raju Garu, founder Rishi Vatika, campus for the IIVS, to talk on time, its nature and mysterious dimensions, cosmos to common man. Very fascinating topic as the 61st talk in the online lecture series. I would like to now introduce our guest speaker of the day. Born in Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh, Shri G S Raju Garu studied B.Sc Mathematics in Andhra University. Astronomy was one of the subjects. He did his engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in communications. He worked in the Ministry of Communications for 36 years in various capacities till he retired as Deputy Director General of South India. He was introduced to Dr. Vedavyas in 1966. His writings include Vedic Sciences in Mahabharata, Our Universe, and also conducted 10 Vedic seminars on different themes and also edited the seminar publications. He also authored 2 books in Telugu language by name Endukandee, meekee, srama, and an audio book titled Chivaraku, migiledi. He is the managing trustee of Vedavyasa Bharati Trust, Bangalore, and the founding member of International Institute of Vedic Sciences, Rishi Vatika. With this introduction, I would request Shri G S Raju Garu to present today's topic. Over to you, sir.
Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Varnanam Artha Sanghanam Rasanam Chandasamapi Mangalanam Chakartaro Vande Vani Vinayako. Sita Rama Gunagrama Punyaranya Viharino Vande Visuddha Vijnano Kaviswara Kaviswaro. Keki Gandhavanilam Suravara Vilasad Viprapadabjajignam Sobhadyam Pitavastram Sarasijanayanam Sarvada Suprasannam Panauna Rajachapam Kapinikarayutam Bandhuna Sevyamanam Naumidhyam Janakisham Raghuvaramanisam Pushpakarudharamam Pushpakarudharamam. Harihi Om. Today, our topic is time. Time the great, time the eternal, time the influential, time the powerful, the great Kala. Its nature we shall see in some detail, and it has mysterious dimensions. Some of them we will see within the time frame that is possible. What type of mystery time holds for people, for institutions, for countries, for regions, for planets, and in the entire universe, what it has. In this phase, we shall see the linkage of time to cosmos, to common man. The applicability of what we are going to discuss are present today for a cosmos, at a cosmos level, and to the common man as it is applicable. The cosmos naturally talks about the celestial bodies, eternal things, endless things, anantadi, ananta. Second, the common man, the day-to-day activities, ground realities, down to the earth situations, and many terrestrial things. This is from one extreme to other extreme. It's a great swing. That swing is what swings us in the life, the common man. So now I will start one by one. The slides will move. The next one. The next slide. Now here, the time is depicted here as a chakra, Kala chakra, and there are spokes, 24. Within this inner circle, there are 6 angles. At Shatkona it is called. It can be taken as a star with 6 radiating elements. Now there is fire on the top, Agni, and the Sudarshana is a weapon for Bhagavan Vishnu. So he uses it whenever it is required. So this is the picture about Sudarshana. And then we move to, here we say, time is the wheel of time of God Vishnu based on an ancient temple carving. This picture is there, that is around 500 AD. This portrays time as a wheel. It is ever revolving, but it has a capability to destroy. That is why it is the title is given here as the destroying weapon. So time has that capability. Time can be the destroyer. Even revolving, and it ever revolves. It can destroy. It can move always forward only. It never turns back. So it gets back to the person who possesses it, who uses it. It is a symbol of zodiac sign also. We call it Rasi Chakra, the cycle of sun god. The flaming deity of time is in the inset. Now, there are 6 seasons which we all know, and they are caused by time. We call them the ritus. And there are various Sanskrit works of great repute which talk about the ritus, Ritusamhara, etc. And then they symbolize the 6-pointed star. The entire thing, if it is taken as unity and year, then there are 6 ritus for each one for a certain period, well-defined period. The stellar god of the universe, God Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu, he signifies eternal and endless time. Anantakala, it is called in Sanskrit. Yes, the next one. Now here we come to the picture of pyramids, probably the largest ones, the largest pyramids, because there are so many pyramids coming these days for meditation and other things. Here these pyramids are actually the clocks of the world. We can say the clock of the world, because all of them put together can be the clock. And there are great astronomical significances of not a smaller scale, not a few years, not a 60-year cycle, not a 100-year cycle. It is for aeons, that is large time frames. That's how they have figured in one of the earliest slides now here. The Great Pyramid of Egypt is an architectural miracle, of course, as a construction. It is an embodiment of cosmic measurements, and it is built according to the astronomical computations. Here I may say a few words. There is an identified version of what is called the Sirius. Sirius is a star, which is also called Mrigavyadi Rudra in the Bharatiya Khagola Vijnana, and that has aligned that when it moves over these 3 pyramids, which are aligned in a way, and that signifies a particular time period connected to great civilizations and other astronomical events. Now, this particular part of the history of Egypt, this extends to the far away past, in the past, to the earliest Vedic days. And probably it is an integral part of, at one time, we can certainly guess that this is an integral part of our great nation, Bharat. And here, the precision of equinoxes, which is definitely a great, a significant subject. And the pyramids have got certainly something to do with this. And then when it was the sign of Aquarius, now we have time periods named after various ages. For example, Aquarius, Kumbha, what we call the Kumbha Rasi. this is the equatorial time. That is, Aquarius time is something that brings or ushers in a great development for humanity, a great evolutionary step for humanity. Here another point is Delphinus. When it was marked by a star Delphinus, that is what it is said here. Delphinus is Dhanishta. Delphinus also has got a significance, and that area in the celestial sphere is connected with Goloka. Goloka, we know, is the place of Krishna, who came, who moved along the, probably in the subsequent slides we will see. Goloka is connected with Krishna, and then Delphinus is the star Dhanishta, and that is in Kumbha. So we will move to the next slide. Here, this is the great Sphinx, and this is also called the clock of the world, and its location from the pyramid and its dimensions and the direction in which it looks. All these have got something to do, and we cannot go in great detail about it. Even the historians have given and identified certain actions, certain changes which are going to take over the world. The world of Egypt, when these pyramids and the Sphinx and all these civilizations were flourishing, is not there any longer. They have undergone a great change, a very major changes. And in the same way, these times can also be identified with the new age that is coming, that is the Aquarius or the Kumbha. And people say that we have already entered it in 1762 AD, according to some of the books. But then we can also see good things happening to the world. People may say, worry about the First World War, the Second World War and things, and that maybe a third one to come and all. But all these things probably, they try to settle down many things. The wrong things will take a back seat. The righteous things will come into the forefront. That is the dharmic advancement, the flourishing of dharma, and the upset in truth taking over the untruth. Now here, the cosmic cycles are of very large width or length or span. Therefore, we have the yugas. Already there have been lectures on these yugas, Satya Yuga or Kruta Yuga, then followed by Treta, followed by Dwapara, and now we are in the dark age or Kali Yuga. So that phase also is probably getting over, and we will look forward for certain more good things to happen. Next slide, please. Now here we see, with the same title, the age of deluge. There is what is called Jalapralayas. And in our books, as given in the Puranas, most of the Puranas and even Bhagavata Purana, we have got very vivid descriptions of what happens between one age to another age, one yuga to another yuga, or in the Mahayugas. So that is the great deluge. And the ancient literature, even in many countries, including Egypt and other civilizations, this deluge has been constantly referred to. So I think these structures, pyramids, are expected to withstand those deluges and then show the clock and its movement and invoke these changes. So to this extent, the Mahabharata is a great landmark, and it has got a 36-year cycle. And after 36 years, there was a great, after the Mahabharata war, 36 years later, Lord Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna left his body, according to Mahabharata in great detail. And at that time, there was a great deluge. This is there in the Bhavishya Purana also, and also in a good number of texts. So the Arabian Sea, I think, has swallowed virtually Dwaraka. So now we can see some remnants of it right below submerged. We will move to the next one. Now in Bhagavad Gita, we are now just moving on to see what is the cyclic. The time has a cyclic nature, like yajna, like many other things which are cyclic. Here time is not a line. And in English, of course, people use it call it as timeline, but it is no longer a line. it is a circular thing. It is cyclic. It rotates and rotates, and the cyclic periodicity could be very small to very large. So about this nature of it, nature of the time, we shall see in a few issues from Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the Bhagavad Gita means gospel for us. God speak. If God speaks, Krishna Paramatma is God. He has spoken this. He has not simply written or passed on or told somebody. He had told at a very crucial junction when a great war had to take place. Here he says, Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. So for all the living beings, they have to depend on food. Where from food comes? It is produced by rain. And from rain, the rain produces, for getting the rains, we have to perform certain sacrifices, yajna sambhavaha. And then these sacrifices have got prescribed activities. So we will have to follow them. So it is a cycle. You can call it a food cycle. The modern small high school textbooks, they call it a food cycle. But here, Sri Krishna says it is cyclic. So time is cyclic, and then all the time, all the things that come to us, one from another to another to another, step by step, that is all timed, probably properly. Now we will go to the next one. Okay, now about the influence of time. This temple is actually, it is called Vidya Shankara temple, and this was designed quite earlier, 13th century, probably around that time, 13th, 14th centuries, by Swami Vidyaranya, who was the Pithadipati for Sringeri Matha, which is in Karnataka. This is the first Matha, ashram, Matha, institution established by Adi Shankara. And this particular one has got a great significance. It has architectural beauty. In addition to it, on the front, there are 12 pillars. Any one of us who see that, we can clearly see certain slots here on the front area. And then all the 12 months can be identified when sun moves from north to south and again back when he swings in Uttarayana and Dashinayana. The light through these slits here that are present, they fall on the Shiva, who is on the main Vimana, right below the Pradhana Vimana. So this is a very significant one. And this is in Chikmagaluru district, this Sringeri, in Karnataka. There's an Indian state. People know there are a lot of tourists who show great interest to this piece of architecture. Now we move to the next one. This is the most popular one, Jantar Mantar, by the great king Jai Singh II of Jaipur Maharaja. And then sometime around 1723 or so, he had constructed this. And then not only here, there is one in Jaipur, there is one in Ujjain, there is one in Kashi, and I think he had made a total of 5, probably, as I remember. And it has got 23 structures or so all around. And we are not going in great detail. We are only taking to say that we have in our country instruments to measure time on a larger scale and also on a day-to-day scale, especially connected with the moon. Moon is the fastest one who moves, whose movement we can watch. Even in minutes, we can watch him moving in a telescope. Put the cursor on the center of the moon and the telescope and watch. Probably by the time 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes moves, and you can see him moving out from the cursor line. So such movements can also be seen. You see some for the 27 stars as moon moves, and with each star, how he is associated, etc., could be seen. But this is a good study. There are books for it, on it, and even recently written. And right now, the area is called Jantar Mantar. Of course, it is not only famous for this archaeological importance and astronomical and astrological importance, but it is also facing the Parliament street. So anybody wants to go and shout at Parliament, they assemble here and then move. That's how the Jantar Mantar has become ill-famous, not for good things, not only for good things, but even for certain protests and other activities. Next one, please. Okay, now here I'm taking a few specific instances as to how time brings. For example, on a larger scale, civilizations flourish, they take birth, they flourish, and then they are lost in time. That means time does not allow them to last for eternity or permanently. So that's how we call it, we rephrase the word and say that the civilizations are lost in time. We have had many names, and in our own country, we had the Indus Valley civilization is written in quite some books. And at one time, people thought that was the earliest one, and there was nothing before that. Creation even was not there, etc. But we know now recently things have been changing with a lot of people taking astronomical studies and the studies available, the books available in Sanskrit, scriptures, classics, etc., and trying to correlate them and then come out with very certain dating systems for many.
Hello.
Civilizations come and go. We heard about Mesopotamia, Babylonia, and then ancient Greeks, and then from Athens they moved towards the west. As if a ray is drawn, a ray starts as the earth moves, and the ray moves from Persia, then the Gulf area, then to Greece, and then to Rome. The Roman Empire has been quite influential in those days, but it is not there. Rome is there, of course, and sometimes we hear all roads lead to Rome, and that situation has moved and gone into the island areas like the Great Britain, France, and the Great Britain, etc. And then ultimately it has crossed the Atlantic. The cultural, we should say, evolution has touched that land. Maybe it is coming back from the other side or in the same direction. And probably it is the turn of, it was the turn of Japan, or maybe it is the time of our country. So I think we are, if you follow this line or the race of evolutions and revolutions, and then bringing many civilizations, giving birth to many civilizations, and they are flourishing, they are getting lost. Probably we are there to reap such, invite such a race, and then become glorious in our country. So the influence of time, here I have shown a picture of the Setupatis, which I had access to some good books which are quite voluminous, and they have been the seafarers. That means they were a great sea power from our country, and on the eastern coast, and their other contemporaries on the other western coast also. The headquarters of these people, the capital city, is Ramanathapuram. It is named after Sri-Rama. You can understand Rameshwaram connected with the Setupatis. And they were very benevolent kings, and the accounts were tremendous. And then some of the presently important towns like Tirunelveli, Nagarkoil, and in Tamil Nadu, south of Madurai, south of Vaigai River, Tamraparni is in that area. Great souls have taken birth there, great saints like Nammalwar, etc. So this great sea power, among them, Narasimhavarma too had extended his kingdom to Malaysia. It includes, and Malaysia, there is a state, Malacca. In those days, it is a state actually. Malacca is from Amalaka, and great gardens, and those who visit there can still see many traces of Narasimhavarma ruling this country. and good remnants are there. But I think one by one is crumbling, becoming ruins. And probably sometimes in future it may not be recognizable even. But when we went there, we could see some of those things identified pretty well. And Singapore is the southern tip of this part. And Singapore itself is the Simhapuri. It is called Simhapuri, named after Narasimhavarma. So Lord Narasimha is Singa. So it is Vikruti Pada. Simha is the Prakriti and Singa is Vikruti according to the grammar. And Singapuri, Singapore, they have made it. And there, interesting to mention here that there is one island where a lot of entertainment is possible. That was called Santosha Island. Now it is called Santosha Island or Santosha Island. So the words are still there. These Setupatis, why I am dwelling a little is quite a vast amount of literature is available in the southern on this kingdom. There is need for institutions like us to bring it out and tell them what was there in the history, in the great history, in the great past. And I think that will infuse a lot of confidence and dignity to the people living there so that they don't drift away by the influences of some of the other people from the West or any other colonizers, etc., who had left already long back, but still it continued. And Java also is a part of it. And in the earlier times, even before Narasimhavarma, there are many remnants in Thailand, Cambodia, for example, the famous Angkor Wat temple, the largest Vishnu temple on earth. This is in Angkor Wat, and these are all integral part of this coastal southern kingdom of India, of Bharat. This is the last sentence is the most important one. There are no narrow-minded concepts of winning over regions and then ruling over and then trying to plunder, loot, etc. Times are not there. They are very, very benevolent kings. I have good stories, but this is not the occasion to tell them about the story of the British people, how they have surrendered themselves. Surrendered, I am underlining. The British had started from the south and Calcutta and Madras, and then they have taken over the whole part of the country, subordinated many kings. But when they attempted this to Setupatis, they were an utter failure. They first tried to occupy, and then they could not subdue because of the people and their devotion. So they have surrendered the kingdom back to the Setupatis. There is a very good book on this with great detail, date by date. On May 15th, what happened? On May 15th, some other time, what happened? These are all great things. One day, I think we have to bring them to light, and even somebody can make it a movie. Just like the Tashkent files have taken something, the center stage, like Vivek Agnihotri. So now what happens is, what happened was slowly these have disintegrated, and then they were a great sea power, but right now it is only that one is consisting of Setupatis kingdom is now consisting of a few of the districts in the eastern Tamil Nadu coastline. That is the part of it. Now can we go to the other ones? I had mentioned some names of the Setupatis and their periods there, and then that is for historic importance. We can refer it to later when we want to go in some great detail. Now, influence of time. Time we are studying. Time has one nature. It influences. It does bring great changes and great influences. Alexander, we will take it. Of course, Alexander the Great. He is called Alexander the Great. Somebody else also was called during the Mughal period, somebody great, etc. But here we will examine this. Alexander the Great, the researches have been done during the last 45 to 50 years from various libraries in Greece and then in Athens. Especially I knew some people, elderly people, right now of my age and maybe a few years senior to me. They have done wonderful work. and they learned Greece, the Greek language, and then a little bit of Latin here and there, and then brought out books as to how great Alexander was, what type of change has the time has brought, influence has brought. Though it sounds like history, yes, history is a very small part of time. Time, capital letter, time, capital letter, it has got a great influence on history. Now, when Alexander came, the true story as came out from the libraries of the Greeks at the time who wrote was Alexander was not a conqueror of India. He is not a conqueror of the world as he wanted to be. But as far as India is concerned, he was defeated, he was disillusioned, and there was a rebellion. He could not keep his flock together, and then they have revolted against him. He had to take back, and he has to move back, and he fell sick on the way. And then all these descriptions are available in their own writings. We are not creating anything. It is not out of any prejudice or anything. So all these things, one day we'll have to see how time brings changes. He is not the same man who left Greece and then conquered a few kingdoms, smaller ones, but he had to get back home as a sick person. And ultimately he died at a very early age. That people know about it. That much is true, that he died at a very early age. Now, next slide, please. Now here, nature and dimension of time. We are trying to see about certain dimensions here. I have picked up a small word here. Kalohi duratikramaha in the end of the first sloka. Kalaha pachati. The time can cook people. However great it may be, there will be udvignata. That means you put some in the pot, some milk, and then put fire below that. Then what happens? The milk boils. You can see that making sound and boiling. That is udvignata. So pachati here the sloka says, and pachati means it is cooking actually. Bhutani, cooking what? Cooking milk or payasam? No. Bhutani, the pranis, the living beings, and those who are proud about things, etc. Kalaha, Sauharate can finish off also, and then Prajaha, the rulers, can be ruined. And the Kauravas thought that they are 100 in great number and they are invincible, etc., etc. But wherever they are, all of them, they have been killed in the war of Mahabharata. This particular sloka is by Vizura. That is why I am quoting the Kauravas example. And he told Dhritarashtra, that is the king, he was his minister in the epic Mahabharata. It is in 3 Parva. Of course, prior to this has appeared in Ramayana in one of places. This word of Kalohi Duratikramaha has been used by Valmiki also, that we will get it now. Time devours all things. That is summary. Time kills. What is the nature of time? It devours, it finishes off, it kills. That means it won't leave the traces even. All that are born. So this is all that are born. One day they have to leave the earth. That is quite well known. And time is awake while all else sleeps. This is a very interesting thing. And the saints also are awake in night and they do japa, etc. And when now common man is sleeping in the night, they are wakeful. During daytime, they sleep. That is what we have some sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Time is insurmountable. See, this is the Duratikrama. That means you can't do anything with the time. The time is time. And the next slide probably shows some more things about the nature of the dimension. Next slide. Oh, here, good. Now, Kalagni Rupa. Okay. Kala is compared to Kalagni. The word is joined here, Kala and Agni. And about Agni, Agni is a destroyer. Not even in the earlier times of Davagni, he enters into the he is one of the, we can say, Panchabhutas, and he is so powerful that he can do all the jobs of the other four bhutas also in terms of destruction. So he can cause havoc. It's not necessarily the forest fires in the western part of the US, which people have witnessed during the last few months. Now, from here, I will just summarize. This is from Padma Purana. It is taken. Kalagni, actually for the bodies, Menu is body. So for the body and for the praja, for the all others, it can just cause havoc. That is the Kalagni. That is the brief meaning of it. That is given here. And then the another part here is Sarvabhuta Bhayankaraha. That is what it says here. Padhyavasya Mahatmanaha Kalagni. This Kalagni Santastau Sarvabhuta Bhayankaraha. For all, not merely the human beings, for all pranis, the animal kingdom, the other plant kingdom, everywhere they can cause havoc and destruction. That is what it says. And okay, destruction is the job. Dissolving is the job assigned to Bhagavan Shiva. So therefore, this is quite appropriate that Shiva is there and then overlooking the destruction part of it. So time can also destroy. Therefore, a Kala Purusha is a term which is used vastly in the Vedic literature. See, that great Kala Purusha can cause any havoc. So we go to the next one. Next slide, please. So far, next we have discussed about the nature of the time. The nature of the time. The scale of the time, in the beginning we had seen how great structures and other things have come. Then we have come to the nature of the time, and it has got so many qualities that it can do. But here we use another dimension of the time. What is the dimension of the time? It's not a scale that you can measure, but there is a scale in it, built in it. And scales are different. For humans, they are different. For devatas, the divine beings, it is different. For certain other stellar events, it is different. Therefore, the dimension is referring to the scale, and also it has got a mysterious nature. So we cannot take too many examples here, though they are available in our classical scriptures. One of the most recent ones I have taken here to tell you. And the time has got an involutionary effect. That means it rolls in and reels out. So it has got like the spiral, no? It's like a spiral. It can zero in the arm, and it can start on the peripheral, move into the center, start from the center and move out also. Here what happens, there are two figures here. One is of the famous Shri Sai Baba, the great holy saint, sitting there on the rock there. And then on the onto the other side is Upasani Baba, sitting in the chair, and he is his disciple. Sai Baba's disciple is Kashi Vidwanath is his name, a great Brahmin from Maharashtra. And probably there are not disciples. This is one of them. All are devotees only for Shri Sai Baba. That is a very peculiar thing. So this person was a great Sanskrit scholar and also a great Ayurvedic doctor. And then he has been a great sadhaka. So when he approached some holy men living in those times for further going into the higher samadhis and the end of it, the moksha, people guided him. See, such a person is living here in a small village. Why don't you go and see him? Then he saw him. Then what happened is a story very well written in his life of Baba and life of Upasani also. Then after some time, almost at the close of it, the rigor of sadhana in his presence was terrible. That is, even for most of us who believe we can afford to be sadhakas, we can see with what vigor Baba had uplifted this Vishwanathji, Upasani Baba, he is called later, subsequently. Now, here is a point where time has played a very important role. This Upasani was tired of the rigor and could not withstand and ran away from Shirdi Sai Baba. He wanted to run away. He really ran away. He went about 13, 14 kilometers. There is Godavari flowing, and he wanted to take some bath. And there was some event happened, and then there was a Dattatreya temple, and some nail or thorn has hurt him in the foot, and then he suffered. I left my guru. I am running away without informing him. Maybe this is causing a suffering for me. He had some internal thoughts like that. And then ultimately, when he spent 7 days, the description for all those 7 days was there. I'm not going in detail. I'm only seeing the time involutionary effect only here. And now, at the end of the 7th day, he left on a Thursday, and at the noon time, and at that time, there was Arati going on. There used to be noon Arati, Madhyana Arati for Baba. And then he spent about 7 days away from him. And so many events happened. Somewhere he was caught as a thief. Actually, he did not thief any thievery. But it was a sort of a miracle that he was caught by the police. Instead of catching thieves, they sometimes catch some other person, that try to clear the cases and all that to win their promotions. Maybe these things may be happening even these days, not in those British days. Now, they put him in the jail. Then he started repenting. Oh, what happened to me? Why this happened to me? This should not have happened. And I did not do anything. And I am only a simple sadhaka because I was not able to withstand the rigor of that great sadhana Baba has given to me. So I am just running away. So then he was repentant. Then what happened? The policeman came, pulled him out of the cell. Hey, useless fellow. You never told us. He got abused also, unfortunately. You could have told us that you are not the thief when we were beating you and trying to do some harm to you. So he walked back. He wanted to get back and to his guru. He realized that he cannot live and live in any other place. He cannot leave this great saint after accepting him as guru. So he went back. And then on the way, there is a town called Kopargaon. He got into Tangawala, and he asked him, which is the direction where we are going? He said to Shirdi. He got in there. And then as he was coming, he just asked some fellow, how far are we to Shirdi? So you are just right here. You seem to be a new man, and you are new to this town. We are just here. In another few minutes, you are entering this small village. So slowly he went, and then he sat there, and he joined the crowd, the devotees, the crowd of devotees. And then when the Arati was over, Baba said, come, Kasi, Upasani, come nearer, and be here in the Arati. When Arati is going, why are you standing at the back of it? You should be in the forefront. Some frequent words Baba said. And then he found, to his great surprise, that it was the same day when he left. It was the same Thursday, and the Arati was halfway through. It was not even completed. Arati could have taken about 10 to 12 minutes. So probably within these 10 minutes or 8 minutes of his absence, 8 days have passed. And then he suffered a lot. The policeman met him. There was a thorn, and in between so many bad things happened to him. So all those punishments have turned his heart that he cannot leave this place. So here, further stories, he has become a great saint, and Baba had blessed him with many things. Baba made him equal to him. That is what he promised, and he did also. But here the involutionary effect is how these 8 minutes could appear or happen physically to Upasani as 8 days. So I mean, the 8 days which he was away. So there is a time scale here which is really mysterious. It is very difficult to explain. We are not at high soul, but we can understand them that this happened, and we can take them seriously. And such good things do happen. Here, what is time can be rolled in, time can be rolled out. You can expand just as a plastic thing. You can expand, and then probably for the software people it is very easy. There are time slots. You can expand them the millisecond time slot can be expanded, multiplied by microseconds, nanoseconds, and things like that in the nanotechnology days. So what happens is, each one is equally significant for him as days. It could be months, it could be years, but these are only 8 minutes here in the presence of Baba when the Arati was going on. So this is the mystery part of it. There are quite some many things like this, but we will not go into great detail. We are on the time part only. We will move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, okay. Here we are just continuing in the with this as Valmiki's Maharshi Valmiki's words. Here he uses this Kalohi Kramaha. He has used it probably earlier, and later on it has been used by Maharshi Vyasa also, Vedavyas also. There are two things here. That is, when bad times are there, when somebody loses, somebody is very close, say a wife in this case was taken away, and Srama was in great pain, and then so many wise words came from his mouth. Kalohi Dharadikrama means nobody can go against the time or can come over time or try to come over these difficulties unless the right time comes. That is the type of a meaning this suggests. So Maharshi Valmiki has put such words, gave us some words to Sri Rama, Bhagavan Sri Rama. Sita Mata, she also said so many things, and especially when she was there in Sri Lanka. To whom? Probably to Hanumanji. And then when everything was over, Lakshmanaji, when he had to receive some sort of harsh words from a very respectful and he is a devoted person to his elder brother. This younger brother had to hear very harsh words from his wife, Sita Mata. So there are occasions, those different occasions had used terminology which is very similar to this, but referring to Kala, referring to times, bad patch of, people say it's a bad patch. When their things are not going well, they say it's a bad patch. Traditional people say, oh, time is not good, time is not favorable, and we are running bad time. These are some of the terminologies, but this was there in Ramayana. And there is another similar sentence here uttered by Sita, that eti jivatam, that is for in life what happens is anandaha, for getting happiness comes. For who? For naram, that is for people. Varsha satadhi, satadhi. Even if we live, Varsha means year. Even if we have to wait for 100 years to get back the good days, to get good days to come, we don't have to go there. Just good days will come to us because time goes at its own pace. And just because we are having trouble, it doesn't go slow. Just because we are in jubilant mood, time doesn't wait, it will fly at its own pace. So here, this sentence is uttered by her, and therefore the meaning here is a person can wait for 100 years of time till time brings bliss, that is blissful days. After 100 years of time, time changes and brings happiness, that is the summary of it. So we have in our Vedanga, Vedic Vangmaya, our epics, etc., we have very good things informing us about the nature of time. Okay, we have an English saying here, time and tide wait for none. Time is not going to wait for you because you are having a good time and it should be sustained. It is not stationary. It doesn't wait there. It has ever changes. It brings in ever changes. It also ever always changes and continuously. Eternal. There is a term called eternal. It is there, but that is on a very, very high scale. Even then, it is not eternal. It looks eternal for most of the things. It controls. Now time controls. Yes, the time has got, the clocks are there, and then unless you punch the right thing at the entrance of the factory, you don't get your attention properly. These days, the bio facilities have become available, and then that is the control part of it. Recycling. The recycling is something is used and then can be put back to use at least to some measure after some time. So such things are very well known to recycling. Even the human beings are part of the creation, and the creation has been put to reuse when the Purusha Sukta tells us in the Veda, it is there in all the four Vedas. Purusha Sukta tells us that Tripar Urdhav Udai Purusha Pados Yeha Bhava Punaha. So what has been created before the it was Pados Yeha, only 1/4 of it, only 1/4 of it is used. That becomes the universe, and again it goes into recycle. Punaha means again it comes in some other form. And it is used like the part of the beach, and we must ask an example. If the part is not taking good shape, if the evolutionary progress of human beings are not good, probably they will be replaced with gorilla. So here the recycling material, the bhava punaha, again it is taken and then put to use. The partner uses it like that, he won't throw it away. So now dwelling units we are hearing these days, mostly political parties are giving 1-bedroom dwelling unit free, 2 bedrooms free, and things like that. Dwelling is actually to be in a place, to be under a shelter. That is the. So dwelling also can mean we keep on repeating that those thoughts, those events, those turbulence, tribulations, trials, etc. That is also one way of dwelling. Time does that. So time makes a man dwell on things, dwell in places, dwell in pleasant and unpleasant places and unpleasant events. So it has got some nature. It only means that it repeatedly brings, and it repeatedly takes it away. That type of a thing. Now it enhances. Sometimes humans feel that the suffering is too high and it is intolerable and beyond the limits that it can sustain. So that is the enhancement of troubles. But the time brings good things, and it looks the person can sit as a prime minister for 17 years, 20 years, 30 years, and those days have gone. But very short periods, enhancements of power can be there instead of time. Instead of time sense, instead of span of time, it can give these enhancements by way of placement and power. And time also becomes transparent. This is a good part. You take a coin and you put some light on it, and then you see a picture or sort of the map of India, etc. on the coin, and on one side there is light. Exactly at the same time, on the other side of the coin, there is darkness. It is possible to see both sides, provided the item or the coin, here it could be a human being, is transparent. What happens if a human being is transparent? People call him weightless, artless, or he is simple, he is very, okay, all good qualities we can put to learn. Because he is transparent, he doesn't hide things. He won't mansa vasa karmana. That means he won't say one thing, he will do another thing, he will plan some other thing. That is not a man. He is very simple. So probably we call him a saint. If somebody attains great values. And time makes a human run. My God, time can make people run. If time is running out, somebody got a 10 minutes notice for some summons, he must have run really. And then, though I'm not referring specifically to anyone, anybody can run. And finally puts to rest. After running, what happens? He puts to rest. That means if that is done, or if Ayush is gone, that is also one way of putting to rest. So this is time. Time does so many things. These are all verbs we are talking here. Time controls, time recycles, dwells, enhances, becomes, transference, makes human beings run and finally put them to rest. Putting them to rest also can mean that takes the life away. Okay, now we'll move to the next slide. We have only a few more. Here it is Lord Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna Stuti, actually, this is a very good and one of my favorites prayers. Mukam karoti vatalam, pangum langhete girim, yat krupatamaha vande, paramananda matavam. Here the meaning is, Mukam means a person who cannot speak, and he can do with the grace of Bhagavan Krishna Paramatma, if the grace is there. Karoti, what he can do? Vachalam, he can do great pravachana and then conduct great meetings and give lectures, etc. Mukam karoti vachalam. With the grace of Krishna, this can happen. Pangam langete giri. Pangam means a fellow who is lame. His legs not properly. And he can jump over great hills. That is, what is impossible can become possible. That is what these two examples. And here in the last, in the second pada, he says, "Yat krupa tamaham." Oh, when Lord's grace is there, krupa is tamaham. One day, paramananda matavam. If that is there, what is not possible? Everything is possible because he is the great happiness. Krishna is the blissful personality. He can take us to bliss. So here I stop, and maybe this is touching and going. Talking about time in this manner is just touch and go. So I think we have this type. We try to see how the classical Vedic view and the Vedic concepts are there about time, and how it is there. These concepts are illustrated in various epics and various Purana, etc. Thank you very much. Very nice service.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajagarundi, for taking us through this enlightening talk of the nature and mysterious dimensions of time. It was really a great talk and fascinating one for us to understand some of the great aspects you talked about, the pyramids as a world clock, and also the complete content in terms of especially the Sai Baba and Upasini Baba's time involution has been a great one to hear. So we would like to take a couple of questions from the audience, if any. I don't see any questions so far. I think it has been very clear to all. So there were no questions. Probably we will conclude our talk. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank Shri G S Raju Garu on this talk. And we also would like to thank all the viewers who have joined us live on Rishi Vatika YouTube channel, and request all to subscribe to the channel for the latest notifications for the future talks. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om.